Today is another installment of my rapid fire reviews. Of course, I do these when I get a little behind in my movie watching for the year, so I usually pick four films, which I've done again today. And these are usually, again, just films that were released in theaters and I missed out on and I haven't had the chance to watch until now, or more kind of like streaming service movies, so things you'll find on Netflix, Amazon, or Disney Plus. So the four movies we have today are Borrego, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, Father Stew, and Interceptor. So without further ado, I'm going to get into my rapid fire reviews for all four of these movies. So very quickly, just basic overview of what I thought, quick score, and what I recommend them or not. So yes, let's get into it. The first film I have here is Borrego. This is a Netflix original film. It stars Lucy Hale kind of in the main protagonist role, but it is about a girl working on her thesis who goes to partly part of the desert. And while she's there kind of collecting research for her thesis, she gets caught up in a very dangerous drug scandal where she is taken prisoner and they are kind of using her as leverage. So the local authorities will again not just shoot on sights because they have her as a hostage. So it's basically just her trying to get out of the hostage situation while the local cop and his daughter are going there to rescue her. It sounds very generic because it is very generic, and I found that this movie would have been almost better as a short film because there's just so many scenes where it's just very long, no dialogue and nothing really happening, no great cinematography of course the landscape that they're in, very drawn out scenarios that again just could have very much been cut down, where it just doesn't really go to show a whole lot about the characters, how smart they can be, things like that. Even though I mean there's some decisions that they make in the film that again are decently smart, it's nothing really original throughout the entirety of this film, and I found myself getting very bored and wanting to end very much quicker than it was going to. So I believe it was about like just a little over an hour and a half long, but I felt like again it would have been almost better as a short film. So with everything taken together, I'm gonna have to give Borrego a 5 out of 10. I mean, it's decent, but yeah, it's not really just short of kind of what I would recommend. So the next film I have is Chippendale Rescue Ranger. So this is about an hour and 45 minutes long, if I remember correctly. But you can find this on Disney Plus, and yes, it is the old school Chippendale characters that we absolutely know and love from a long, long time ago. But they're played by John Mulaney and Andy Samberg this time around, and it's basically their show was canceled after one season, and them and a bunch of animated characters like Peter Pan, people from the Uncanny Valley, Ugly Sonic, a bunch of like so the original design of Sonic from the Sonic movie make their way in this, and it's kind of like all these characters coexist with humans and they're actors, and you find them at Comic Cons, things like that. But basically, yeah, they're both actors trying their best to find more work for themselves. Dale again is again trying to be in the limelight, get more TV shows and stuff, or Chip is kind of become in a sales role. He works, I believe he sells insurance if I remember correctly in the movie. But a mystery comes affront when a member of the Rescue Rangers is suddenly kidnapped and they have to go track him down and again work together. And I found that there was a lot of hilarious things that this movie did that were very kind of meta in a lot of ways. Where, I mean, you have so many versions of like Seth Rogen and all the animated characters he played be on screen at one time doing the laughs, which I found hilarious. Again, like certain sections of the world where like these cartoons will be, so like the Uncanny Valley, so really bad but realistic animation. I mean, Dale and yeah, sorry, yeah, Dale ends up getting like 3D surgery, so he looks a lot more realistic than Chip does the entire movie, and I found that was actually kind of hilarious that they're able just to bring all these animation styles into a movie and make it work and feel again like it was real. So they did a good job with that. But of course, this is just an absolutely goofy mess of a movie that relies on a lot of nostalgia, but it has some really clever writing in it that I think was very fun. Again, generic story, but very, very fun to watch. I did quite enjoy my time with it. Post Malone has a very good soundtrack that he's able to put into it, and honestly, the voice talent in this movie is pretty damn solid. I mean, the human actors can only do so much. It is geared towards kids, so don't expect any Oscar-worthy performances or anything like that. But I did have fun with Chippendale Rescue Rangers, and kind of with everything taken together, I'm gonna have to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I do feel like kids will absolutely love this film, and I do still recommend it, even though it's a bit of a lower on the score. It's a very easy turn your brain off, have fun watching it kind of movie. I do think a one and done for me, but there are some cameos that I found was absolutely hilarious. So maybe I'll revisit it in the future. But honestly, it was a pretty solid. Next, we have his father, Stu. So this film stars Mark Wahlberg. It is kind of a bit of a generic comeback story where small town guy who's basically wasted his life away, but has a lot of passion within him. He's gets caught up with the wrong people, drinking, and just too caught up in the wrong lifestyle where he wants to make something work for himself, and he's working at it. But the people he's surrounded by, the opportunities that he has around him, he kind of goes numb to because this is what he wants for his life, and a bit of throwing his life away. But very tragic accident happens to him, life threatening, and he starts to get involved with the Catholic Church, and he wants to go down a path of transforming himself and becoming a pastor. So there's quite a few moments in this film where I found that there was some very good dialogue about Catholicism and finding faith, and again, two people who don't want to find faith and being completely justified in it. So the religious freedom to practice or not practice is very apparent in this film, and I found that there's good commentary on it. There's very, very good lines, but I found again a lot of this film was just very dragged out, or while there was great commentary, there's also very bland commentary and things that just felt like cheap shots to either sides that didn't really hold a lot of weight. And I know that was kind of there for the characters, but it didn't really feel like in the grand scheme of the story and kind of the messages they're going for that it really meant all too much to again the characters, the world, and just the story of religious freedom that they're kind of trying to tell here. But yes, with everything taken together, I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10. Mark Wahlberg put on a pretty decent performance in it, and yeah, it's worth a watch if you want to again just kind of watch an partly inspirational story, but it's a little tough to get into some of the characters because again, a lot of them are very, very scummy or just again, it's very depressing in ways that just seeing people who don't want to change from their ways but are so miserable living in it. So I just found that there could have been more commentary and better commentary for that. And the last film we have is Interceptor. You'll be able to find this on Netflix. It just came out this last Friday. And I honestly recommend skipping this one. It is basically Russia sends nukes, and I'm trying to not be spoilery here, but missiles come from Russia. They're targeting 16 cities all across the United States, and there's two interceptor facilities that the US has that can shoot missiles to take out all of these incoming nukes. One of them has been overrun already. All the basically military personnel at this base is dead. So there's one that's on an oil rig. There's a captain who has gone through definitely a lot, and she kind of gets basically a demotion to the role that she's at now because of again a sexual assault allegation that she made that put her back like many steps. But she gets sent to this facility right in time for again this Russian force to come in and try and take over this facility so the nukes hit America. So she is basically in a control room making certain that the group of people who are trying to take over this facility cannot get into the control room and stop the interceptor missiles from being launched. I found this to be one of the most weirdly paced movies, very oddly shot movies, and not very well acted movies I've seen this year. Yeah. Oh my goodness. The fight scenes are very, very poorly filmed. Where I just don't know what kind of camera angles they're going for. Um, yeah, some of the line delivery and just grunting that some of the characters have when um oh man, they have no weapons on their side in this facility, but also when they're defending and they have one person in front of them, they'll spray like crazy an entire magazine full of bullets and then be pissed off they didn't hit anything and toss it away when it's like that's such valuable ammunition that you're just wasting, and they keep doing that and doing that and doing that, and it's just so reckless and kind of unbelievable that's again a scenario like this would actually play out in the ways that it does. There's one kind of gnarly kill that it has where oh, again I don't want to go into it for spoiler's sake, but basically like two people are falling off the base and they're gonna go into the water. You see the protagonist hit the water and go down, but the other body just never shows up either. Again, it's just the fight scenes are so poorly shot and very weird directorial issues. But again, one of the most bland and generic movies I've watched this year, and yeah, Interceptor is going to be a 4 out of 10 for me. I mean, if you just want a dumb, turn your mind off action film, it's decent enough for that, but it's not well made. So yes, if you've seen any of these films, please let me know what you thought about them in the comments down below. If you like this installment of Rapid Fire Reviews, definitely give it a thumbs up, and you can check out everything I do on the channel through the playlist down below, and I'll link some up top here for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing. Turn that little bell on so you know when I upload new videos. And if you want to join an amazing community, you can either look in the description of this video or my channel bio, and there is a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you can definitely join that amazing community, help make it even more amazing than it is already, and just awesome, guys.